It's finally Fabulous Ficus Friday, and today I'm going to be repotting my Ficus benjamina into a new pot. I have 3 possible pots to choose from. I have this cement pot that Lewis made, I've got the marble pot from China, and I've got another Chinese pot with kind of a decorative sides on it. I'm going to try them all out, position them in front of the tree, and see what looks the best. Here's a look at the first pot in front of the tree. This is the cement pot that Lewis made. This pot is definitely larger. It has more volume in it. It's slightly deeper. It's not quite as long, but it's definitely wider than the seed tray that the tree is in at the present moment. I think if it went in this pot, I would have to grow the tree quite a bit larger. At the present moment, the tree looks too small for the pot. It kind of looks lost in the pot. But if this tree was, quite a bit wider, denser, I think this pot will eventually suit this tree. I like the color and I like the style, but I think it's just a little too big at the present moment. The next pot I'm trying out is the marble pot from China. It's almost a direct replacement of the seed tray. The size and height and everything is about exactly the same. I think this would be a nice pot for this tree. It's very heavy. It would make lifting the tree around quite difficult. I've got to finish this pot, and I've got to wait till this pot gets a bit more patina on it too. I have it outside so it can kind of get some natural staining and character to the pot. At the moment it looks kind of freshly made. The next pot I'm trying out is this ancient Chinese pot. It's definitely shorter lengthwise, but it's wider widthwise by quite a bit from the seed tray. I'll show you an above view of that. Here's a look from above, and you can see kind of the difference in volume. So this one is quite wide, whereas the seed tray isn't, and this one isn't as long. But I think if we come down here, the tree looks pretty comfortable in that pot size. I kind of like it, and I like the decorative pot. It sort of matches the roots. I think a plain pot underneath this tree might look too plain. I think this is a really good match. I'm definitely liking this pot. I think it suits it really well. At least, while the ficus is this size. This ficus might grow, and then it would look better in that cement pot of Lewis's eventually, or the marble pot. But I think at the present moment, this is the pot it's going to go into. I think it'll look really, really good. The color of the pot, well, it's not a perfect match, but it's kind of colorful. It reminds me a lot of some of the pots you see in Vietnam and the Chinese pots, where the pot kind of, again, if it was too simple a pot and too mute a color, I think the tree would overpower the pot. I think having kind of a colorful, this is almost like I guess it's a turquoise color. I think it adds some life to the tree. Gives it a bit of sparkle. That's my impression anyway. It's going to be really nice to see my Fusion Ficus, Franken-Ficus, back in a bonsai pot. It's been in the seed tray for 7 years. I think it'll make quite a difference to the overall presentation of the tree. This tree still needs a lot of development, filling in at the front, getting that canopy denser, but I think someday it's going to look really good. It's getting quite cloudy out, and it looks like it could rain today, which is good. We need the rain. So I'm hoping to get the repotting done before it starts pouring. Before I start on the repotting, I have got a package in the mail. Let's check it out, see what's inside. This package is a very special package. It's from Emily in Wisconsin. Emily is a young girl. So let's see what's inside. So I'm just going to open it up. If you're watching this, Emily, I'm very excited to see what you sent me. Okay. I'm going to open the box now. So here I go. I'm going to turn it this way. I don't want to show any addresses. Let's see what's inside. Oh, something in here. There's a bit of packaging. We'll take that out first. And in here, there's a bag. Let's see what's in this bag. This is a compass. Wow. Now I can always find my way wherever I'm going in the woods. If I'm out on a hike or that. And it attaches to my keychain or my belt. That's fantastic. These are beautiful stones. Wow. I bet you Emily collected these from her backyard. That is fantastic. Let's see what else is in here. Oh, look at this stone. This is a nice stone. It's got a shine to it. It's really, really nice. I have got a little rubber snake. I'm going to put that on my bonsai. Do you know that if you put snakes on top of your bonsai pots, it helps scare away the birds? So that's what I'll do. I'll put it on top of my moss here, and that'll keep the birds away. Thanks, Emily. I think I better read the card first. This is beautiful. What a card. It's very, very nice. And there's some flowers in it, pressed flowers. See that? Very cool. Let's see what it says. It says, I have never seen a purple cow. I hope I never see one. But I can tell you anyhow, I would rather see one than be one. And that's from Emily. There's her name on the back. That is cool. Thank you, Emily. What a wonderful card. And this one says, Happy birthday, Nigel. Love, Emily. Aw, isn't that fantastic? And look at the artwork on here. That is amazing. There is some mud men. Are they ever nice? That's amazing. Look at that. Here is a close-up of the mud people. Isn't that cool? And there's my hand for scale. They're very small, very detailed, really cool. And here's the rocks. The purple cow and the card. Very, very nice. Thanks, Emily. I'm going to put all my gifts, my treasures, in my treasure box, and thank you for making my birthday so wonderful. I am all ready to begin the repotting. I've got a pot, I've got soil mixed up, I've got my tools, and a tree. This time of the year is the very best time to repot ficus, early summer, and especially a day like today where it's warm, humid, and overcast. I'm beginning today by removing the moss from the tree. It's just a thin layer. It was growing in the greenhouse and this moss just grew on here naturally. It's not easy, it doesn't peel off in layers. It's kind of just a fine layer of moss on the surface of the soil. Yeah, we haven't had rain in a long time, so there's no kind of natural moss around anywhere. It's just too dry for moss to be green and growing. However, once we start getting rain, which I'm sure we will eventually, we'll get all kinds of moss growing everywhere. Hopefully in time for the bonsai shows, the fall shows. All right, here I go with the water. So you just need, enough water in the tray to keep the moss alive. And every time you water your trees, you just water your moss too. Like that. My next step is to get the tree out of the pot, which shouldn't be hard because it's just a seed tray. It's quite flexible. So here I go. I'll grab the tree by the trunk and lift up and hopefully get it out. It's very heavy. I don't want to damage these aerial roots. It's the roots are kind of stuck in the bottom through those holes. There, it's coming now. There. So I've got the tree out of the pot and I'm ready to begin the root work. I'm going to begin combing out the roots now. So you can see the roots aren't packed in here too badly, which is nice. I should be able to comb them out nice and radially. The soil in here is in really good condition, so I put a tray underneath to catch the old soil. I can reuse it on, you know, starting off some trees or something. Underneath, I use the one-piece drainage screen, the large rectangular one, and the roots have kind of grown through it, so I'm trying to get that out now. And I found the easiest way is just to cut some of the roots where they go through the drainage screen. They'll be cut anyway, so it doesn't hurt anything. And you just peel it back. So again, I'm not repotting this tree because it's root bound. I'm repotting it to sort the roots out. It's gained enough vigor. There's a potato root, see that one? Starts off skinny and then it's got this thick bulbous end on it. I could call them anchor roots, I guess, because that's what the tree uses to anchor itself in the ground during hurricanes. The root goes into the ground, then it expands and really locks the tree, helps stop it tipping over. Now, a lot of ficus still do tip over in storms, but that's because there's tremendous force on the top of the tree from the wind. So I'm using the handle of the root rake, sort of like a chopstick. It doesn't have the sharp corners, so it's very smooth on the roots. It's a good tool to sort out roots. All right, I'm going to get rid of all this old soil, and then I think I'm ready to hose off the roots. I'll show you a view looking underneath the root base. So there's the bottom. So it's, you know, needs a bit of pruning, but it's quite nicely sorted out. So I'm going to wash the roots next. All right, here I go on the root washing. Turn it up to jet. I'll place the tree on the turntable, then I'll start the root pruning. So ideally, you know, roots are like branches. They should divide from 1 into 2, 2 into 4, and so on. So you can see there was a root here. I cut it here, and I've divided from 1 to 1, 2, 3, maybe 4. It's not bad looking. I could prune away the root on this side and have it divide from 1 to 2, and then cut it again so they divide more, which is ideal. You want the roots getting finer and finer as they go away from the tree. So I think that's where I'm going to begin, because there's a root behind there that you can't see with these roots, and there's too many. This is like a pom-pom root where you have too many roots coming out from one pruning point. So I'm going to remove this one, this little one here. So I'm keeping my best roots. Move that one, like that. As I do this, you can see I'm exposing more soil here that I might have to rewash the roots and get fresh soil in there. Ficus seem to react to new bonsai soil really well. They really gain vigor after you've replaced the soil with fresh bonsai soil. They just seem to take off. I think it's just the extra oxygen that you get in new soil because it's not compacted. Excuse me. So I'm going to clean up that pruning point. Remove that third root here. So now you can see it divides from 1 to 2, which looks better. Looks less cluttered. So now I'm still looking for roots that stand out as being not so good. So here's one here. You can see this thick root comes down, and then I've got this root that comes off at a funny angle here. It's not very radial. It kind of makes it look very tangly and crowded in this area. So I'm going to take that one off. Like that. Pull that out. That helps clean this up. There's one here that's kind of crossing in behind. I could straighten that one out. And I will. I'll get this one kind of out front like this. So those two roots aren't crossing anymore. They flow a little nicer into the soil. There's old soil in here I can pick out. There's another kind of funny crossing root here I'll get rid of. Okay, let's keep going. So these roots, this root here, it kind of, I need something in here, and this root would be the one, but it's kind of captured under these roots. It's kind of tangled in there, so I'm going to try and pull it out. Like that. It's coming out nicely. Like that. So now I can reposition that a little better. So I will put that, excuse my hand here, I will put that, I got to pull this part out too. There. So now I can put that down in here. Like that. So you see this flow nicely too. Much improved. Now let's keep looking here. I've got a lot of roots in this one area. There's one kind of wraparound root here, and it divides from 1 to 3 here. I'm wondering, they're all nice roots, and there's no rule that says I can't have that either, but I think that's just got to stay. If I took this root off, there'd be kind of a hole here. If I took this root off, then I'd have a space here without any roots. Wouldn't look quite as miniature. There's one kind of crossing here I can take off. I'll do that. Remove that one. Like that. That kind of cleans up this area a bit. There's another one here that crosses. I'll get rid of that one. Here's another pom-pom root. It comes down, it divides from 1 into 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Well, maybe about 5, I don't know. I think if I had to remove one, which one would it be? I think it'd be this one because it's kind of on top of this root, so I'm going to get rid of that one. It'll leave a bit of a scar there, but that'll heal over. Sorry. Yeah, I think that looks better. It kind of cleans that area up a bit. I could untangle this root. Still not sure about 3 roots there. I think I'm going to take the one off. This one here. Like that. Now I'm dividing from 1 to 2. So I think that's more interesting. You can see there's a bit of negative space between the roots there, whereas these ones are kind of packed in there. But I think that's kind of interesting. So I like that. Let's keep going around here. Let's see what's going on. Some nice aerial roots here. Now this one, you can see it kind of wraps around everything. I'm wondering if it would be better to reposition it somewhere. Like maybe down along the trunk like that. Maybe. Maybe not. I think something like that is pretty good. It still crosses here, but at least it flows. It's not bad. Let's keep going around here. These roots are looking good. Put That one in between there. Now, here's a lot of roots at the back that are not so nice, especially here. There's a... Yeah, this root is not very good looking. So, I think there's some good stuff on this root, so I'm going to take off this one. I don't like it at all. Hold on. There. So that's improving. There's this one that kind of kinks upwards here. That's got to come off. That is one ugly looking root. It doesn't flow at all with anything. So that's come off. You can see that root's improving now. There's one coming out the bottom here. I'm going to just prune off shorter. It's going straight down like that. There's another one here. You can see it's starting to get bulbous. So I'm going to take it off at the thickest point here, like that. There's another root underneath here. If you see, can you see in there? There's a root that comes up from the bottom, and it goes horizontal. It certainly doesn't need to be there. So I'm going to prune that right off, right back to here. So here I go. Hope I got it. Just gonna try and cut that again. Can't really see in here too well. Too many fine roots, which is a good problem to have. So that's gone. There was another bulbous root taken out. Okay, this can be cleaned up a bit here, like that. I've got kind of a strange crossing root here. I'm going to try and pull it out. I don't know if I'll be successful. Yes, I will be. There, so now that can be relocated into a more flowing direction down the trunk. Another one here can be relocated. Here's one that goes 90 degrees. I'm going to prune that one right off. Yeah. It's coming right off like that. So that you can see the back is flowing better now, the root base. There's a stump here I can take off. Another crossing root here. I'm going to try and untangle this one up here and lay it down in a more radial pattern. Something like that. There's another one I can pull out here. I hope. No, broke off, but it'll probably still grow. Okay, so that's sorted that out. Here's a bulbous one down here. I've got to prune the bulbous end off. Like that. There's a root in here that's a bit of a problem. I'm going to take off the parts that don't flow first, these end roots, and then I might have to get this from underneath. It's a solid root. I'm going to come in and slice off the bottom. Like that. That'll get me some ramification coming out from the cut point, and I can develop that root into the future. Okay. Maybe I'll take a little more off that one. It's kind of a strange root. to get in there. There we go. A little more of a slice off that root. That'll look better. So let's keep going around here. Here's my curly root here, my pigtail root, which looks kind of cool. There's another stub I can remove here. Like that. This one's fine. This one kind of could go a better direction. I'll pull it out and, sorry, you can't see what I'm doing, but I'm untangling roots is what I'm doing. There's a bit of soil in there I want to get out. Okay, so now I can lay these roots down a lot nicer, a lot more radial and flowing down the trunk rather than all jumbled and crisscrossy. Which, if you look at a mature ficus, you get some crisscrossing of roots, but generally they flow down quite nicely from the trunk. So I think I've made some good improvements today on the roots. Definitely. So next I've got to go underneath and see what's going on the bottom of the root base. Alright, I'm going to flip the tree up. The branch is hanging off the end of the bench. Okay, so here's the bottom of the root base. You can see there's a lot going on. Some good, some bad. So let's begin by removing some of these roots kind of growing downward. Just shortening them, I'm not getting rid of them. That'll allow me to get the tree a little flatter in the pot. So I'm keeping the roots on the bottom, just making them more compact. Here's another bulbous one here I got to take off. See that one? Now there's a root here that does something funny. I'm wondering if I need to remove that. I think I do. So this is I might be able to just pry it apart here. There it is there. So I'm going to remove that. You can see it doesn't affect the radial root base at all. So I will prune that away now. So that's gone. Big thick root off the bottom. Well, I think that's pretty well got the worst roots off the bottom. I mean, this one's not great, but it's not too bad. I'll just take the end off that one. Like that. Can't do it with my left hand. Yeah, I'll rewash the bottom. There's still some old soil in there. I'm going to rewash it. Then we'll come back and I think we're ready to plant the tree. Alright, so there's my root base. I'm going to test fit it in the pot now, the tree, and just see how it fits and see if I have to take any more roots off. So there's the pot, and it's not bad. It's a little bit of trimming will get it fitting in really nicely. I'm going to come out front. I'm going to look at the tree because I have the opportunity to rotate it a bit in the pot. So I'm going to check for the best front and then plant it in that orientation. Here's a first look at the tree in the pot. I really, really like it. I'm going to look at the front now. I think there's quite nice. So maybe just rotating it slightly like that. Yeah. Gives a bit of style. It's got a bit of a slant to it there, and it kind of comes up. So I've got to do a little root pruning to fit it in the pot. It'll be raised up higher than it's sitting right now, but yeah. So I'll do some trimming of the perimeter of the roots. Okay, so I'm just looking in the pot here, seeing what needs to be taken back. So a few fine roots at the back here. And a few of the roots at the front need pruning back. Now let me see. So this is the front of the pot here. It has a nicer edge here. So I'm still too long on this side. So I'll do a little root pruning here. Like that. Now I'll see how it fits. It's looking pretty good. It's fitting nicely in the pot now. Lots of room. There's lots of room, which is good. Yeah, that's going to sit quite nicely in the pot. It looks really good in the pot. So I'm going to, the roots are longer on this side. I'm going to pot it about like that. You'll see it's shifted to this side slightly. I think that'll look good. And I need to raise it in the pot to about there, so I need, you know, a good distance of base layer of soil. So I'll do that next. Getting that base layer of soil in the pot. This will be exciting. I think the tree's going to look quite nice. Just got to get that canopy to fill out, and it'll be quite a nice show tree. All right, I've got drainage screens in the pot, so I'm going to put the base layer of soil in now. It'll take a lot of soil to fill this pot. So I'll put a mound in the center to position the tree on, and then I'll kind of twist it into its final place. I'm going to try it here. So here I go, positioning the tree. I'll have to check all these roots before I fill it in finally. So I wanted it rotated to about here. Offset in the pot slightly this way. Towards the back a bit if possible. Yeah, so now it's just got to come down in height. It's sitting too high. Here I go. Starting the twisting. I got to make sure the tree is vertical too. Don't want it on some strange angle when looking from the side view. That's not a bad height in the pot. I think it's got to come over this way a bit more. Maybe that's too far. That looks good. The tree's tilting a bit. I got to straighten it out. So I think I've got to add a bit more soil under here. That's looking straighter. My height is still quite good. Yeah. I've got a root sticking up here. I'm going to get rid of that. Just doing a little root pruning here to get it to fit in the pot even better. Okay, let me have a look from the front now. Here's a look at the tree in the pot now. So I'm just analyzing it. I like the offset in the pot. It's shifted slightly this way. I think The height is quite good. It could come up just a little bit. I think it's got room to come up a little higher. The vertical part, I think it's sitting nice and vertical. I'll check it from the side view too. That's looking good too. It should either be vertical or just tilting slightly towards the viewer. And I think I'm tilting just slightly towards the viewer, maybe. And you can see it's offset to the back of the pot. That gives a little more landscape room at the front of the pot. Yeah, I think that's a good position. I just need to raise it up a little bit. Okay, just a little bit. Okay, put it back in the pot. That's all looking nice. This is looking good. All right, I think I'm going to step back and have a final look at it, but I think this might be it. Very exciting. It's looking good, I think. I'm having a final look at the tree. I'm going to check it in the side view too. I'm just going to rotate the tree just slightly. That shows a bit more of the roots on this side, the one at the back, which is kind of nice to see that. And the roots that come down the front aren't exactly in the center, they're offset now. I think that looks better. Okay, I'm very happy with that. I think it looks very, very nice in this pot. So it's time to fill it in with soil. Before I fill it in with soil, I'll do one final comb out of the roots, making sure they're organized, radial, looking good. Oh, there's one back here that can come forward a bit. I'll just start with a light layer, work it into the roots, and then kind of slowly build it up to the right height in the pot. So I'm just gently working the soil in. I'm not pushing down hard enough that I would damage any roots. Just kind of getting it to flow in between the roots. So I don't know how old this pot is that I'm putting it in, but it's very old. The glaze has naturally crackled on it. It's not a crackle glaze, it's just from age. It's got that natural crackle finish, which is really cool. It's very subtle, but it's there. You can tell this pot is quite old. And it's not, you know, a super high quality pot or anything. It's just a nice Chinese pot that's really old and has patina and character to it. So I'll work this soil into the roots just a little bit more, and we'll come back and water the tree. All right, here I go, watering the tree. All right, I've switched to the copper watering can now. A little more flow rate. Oh, is that ever nice? Turn the tree around, get it from all sides. You can see the soil is draining really, really well. Lots of oxygen getting to the roots for sure. There we go. I think the tree will be happy in its new home this summer. I've got to grow in the canopy, kind of filling in this bare spot here. So I've got a nice branch here coming forward that I can develop, some up top. So I think by the end of summer, this tree is going to be looking quite nice. I hope anyway. camera's in the north direction. You're facing south. I want to thank Emily for all the wonderful presents she got me for my 60th birthday. It made my 60th birthday really special. That's all for today. I'm Nigel Saunders. Thanks for joining me in the Bonsai Zone.